Now, the way that I figured out the dates originally of when to transplant those plants is based on my last average frost date. So in our area, West Central Missouri, we average around April 20th as our last average frost date. Things like brassicas, so cabbage and cauliflower specifically, can go in the ground about 4 weeks before our last frost. Broccoli, I usually wait until about 2 weeks before our last frost. So then you figure, okay, well, if they're going to get planted around March 20th, then I need 4 to 6 weeks before that for those to be able to germinate inside and also be able to grow on for a few weeks to be strong enough to be hardened off outside before going in the ground. So that's how you figure out when you should be starting your seeds. The same thing goes if you're planting a fall garden, which again, those dates are all on my calendar already. The reason this helps is because in the middle of the summertime, when I'm so busy outside in these gardens trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, it's very easy to look back on my calendar and go, oh, that's right, I need to start seeds this week because those need to be transplanted out in late July for a fall harvest. So if I plan all this stuff out now and I put it on a calendar, I'm less likely to forget it when I'm in the middle of, I don't know, pruning tomatoes or something. So figure out your seed starting dates based on your last frost date on average in the spring and your first frost date in the fall if you're planning for a fall garden. Now, if you live someplace that is frost-free, so my southern area gardeners, Southern California, Southern Florida, South Texas, if you don't get a frost, then you likely want to base your seed starting on when your average air temperatures start to get optimal for whatever it is that you're starting to plant. So, for example, your warm weather crops shouldn't be transplanted outside until your air temperatures are at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and normally your soil temperature should be above 65 Fahrenheit before you transplant. You can use online resources to figure out when the average timing for that is in your area and plan your seeds starting that way. Just make sure that you account for the amount of time that it takes for those seeds to germinate on average and how many weeks you want them to grow on. Right now, the only thing that I have started indoors are things that take a really long time to germinate, like rosemary and lavender that can take like 3 weeks to go, and things that take a really long time to grow, like my onions and my celery. Everything else is still waiting at least until next week before I go ahead and start planting. So hopefully that helps you.